History has taught us the mere mention of the date of a cataclysmic event can affect whole nations. Its recollection becomes part of the fabric of national consciousness, uniting people in both tragedy and celebration. For example, December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor. June 6th, 1944, D-Day. November 22nd, 1963, the assassination of JFK. November 9th, 1989, the fall of the Berlin Wall. And of course, September 11th, 2001. For Hungarians all over the world, June 4th, 1920 carries such an impact. The day when the imposed Treaty of Trianon changed the borders of a 1,000-year-old nation in Europe and nearly destroyed it in the process. This brutal and unjust treaty awarded 2/3 of Hungary's land and production and 1/3 of its Hungarian population to a number of newly established states. The statistics are simply incomprehensible. How could 3.3 million Hungarians be forced to become citizens of another country against their will? How could a nation continue to exist after being dismembered in such a way? Yet as Hungarians mark this 100th anniversary, Hungary remains a strong, vibrant nation with a culture that unites Hungarians all over the world. We feel a great sense of pride in the nation's will and ability to surmount the history of the past 100 years. Trianon, followed by World War II, and 40 years of Soviet communist dictatorship, as well as the all too brief but shining moment that was the Hungarian Revolution of 1956, all of which led to the wide dispersal of Hungarians all over the world and contributed to the makeup of our 1.4 million strong Hungarian American community in the United States. One of the great gifts of the fall of communism in Hungary in 1989 was the gradual opening of the borders with neighboring countries, allowing the long-awaited freedoms for personal interactions and new initiatives among the Hungarian minority communities of Romania, Serbia, Slovakia, and Ukraine. It was at this time, in 1991, that our Hungarian American Coalition was founded to provide a credible, dependable voice for the interests of Hungarians all across the United States and indeed the world. Throughout the U.S., programs of our member organizations allow us to share a strong sense of cultural identity with Hungarians in the diaspora, in the Carpathian Basin, and naturally in Hungary itself. One of our primary missions has always been to monitor human rights for Hungarians living in minorities in these neighboring countries. Over the past 3 decades, Coalition members have taken hundreds of trips and initiated numerous programs to strengthen Hungarian minority communities. These include scholarships, internships, and mentoring programs, exchanges, leadership and human rights training, trip sponsorships, cultural initiatives, literary awards, and so much more, that have all established a strong relationship between the U.S. diaspora and these Hungarian communities. As we remember the tragic events of 100 years ago, we reach across borders to celebrate 2020, the year of national Hungarian unity. We pledge to continue our effective programs for our fellow Hungarians. As the largest diaspora Hungarian community in the world, Hungarian Americans remain committed to building these ties and ensuring that this kinship endures in future generations of Hungarians, no matter where we may live in the world. So to our Hungarian brothers and sisters in America, across the ocean, and indeed around the world, the Hungarian American Coalition stands with you in this year of remembrance and always. Thank you.